when that job is gone, where does my definition go?
Whoa, okay.
So like,
come on.
I was laid off twice because I'm in the construction industry. So that's, other than military, construction industry in multiple different capacities is where I've been. Mm-hmm. So I got laid off in December of 2005, and then right after I got married in December of 2008.
Of course.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Provider.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, those experiences really wrecked me because, again, I was conditioned to who do I want to be when I grow up. And when those things were taken away, I'm like, well, who am I?
Hey, welcome to God's Glory and Men's Real Stories. I'm excited you're here. And if you're listening for the first time or you're back for another great episode, thank you for joining us. I want to start by letting you know that your story and what you may be going through, on a serious note, it matters. And you're not alone. So try not to worry about what chapter you're in, because if you trust God with your story, He's going to breathe life back into it. So sit back with a community that cares about you and hopes that you feel God's love as well as see God's glory in Men's Real Stories. So before we get started, we got to cover a couple things. I need you to do me a quick favor and go ahead and click that thumb down there real quick. You'll be glad you did by the time this episode's over with. Then if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet and it's still sitting down there looking normal and it doesn't say subscribed, go ahead and hit that too. It's free of charge. It won't cost you nothing. So go ahead and do that now. I'll wait on you real quick. All right. So now that we've gotten that out the way, thank you for your support. Know that this podcast is nothing without you and the men who God put it on their hearts to say yes to joining me. And I appreciate those who have shown interest by filling out our Google Doc because you're interested in joining me here at this table or online so that God can lead us to our future guests. But today's special guest is not a new guy to me. I've known this guy, and he's one of the most interesting guys I know. That's my kind way of saying a little crazy, a little bit, but he knows it. And thanks to him, I realized my love for my children was conditional based on the tolerance of pain I was willing to take for them and his level of pain that he took. But more importantly, his strength and vulnerability in leading with his weakness has made space for all the men who have come in contact with him to be them fully themselves. So I want to welcome our brother, Matthew Query, to the episode. What's going on, bro? Yeah, you know what? I'm just going
Jurassic Park.
Let's just go ahead and I want to go ahead and get it out there, so we don't have to be sitting here acting like this is not our second time recording this, because it is. I would be lying if me and him were to act like we're not going to run a whole new episode back for you guys, because I forgot to hit record. All right, it's on me. I just want to put that out there. I'm not perfect.
Guess what? We failed forward, didn't we?
We did. Up top.
Boom.
So I'm excited to have you here, brother, again for the second time.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be back.
Yeah, look, there's not a lot of guys that make it back, but you have made it back for a second time. So boom.
Nobody will know it, but So.
I know it. That's all that matters. So hey,
but honored to be here.
Yeah,
man.
It truly is an honor for you to be here. So here, how about you go ahead and let's start by introducing yourself to the people who are listening today for the first time.
Yeah, their first time. Yeah. Oh, so good. All right, hey, my name's Matthew Query, and born and raised in Indiana. Graduated from Purdue. Served in the military, went to Iraq in 2003, deployed with the 101st Airborne, was actually with the Indiana Army National Guard during school and all that stuff. And I was in the construction industry, got laid off up there, and they offered me a job down here in 2006. We can get into this later, but like part of my story, I think God really removed me from where I was. Because I probably wouldn't have done it by myself, getting away from influences and stuff,
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty stubborn, as we'll get into.
You would? No.
Probably again. Yeah, so about a year later, I met my now wife. and actually, she's from here, from Charlotte.
Nice.
And
not many of us.
Yeah. And snagged me a local.
Yeah, you did. Look at you. I see you. That's a hard one right there. That's like catching a really big fish nowadays from what I hear.
Yeah. Actually met at Cowdy Joe's Country Line Dancing Lessons. Yep. So
I'm sure there's a lot there that I can be like, what do you mean? You country line dance?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Not real well, but she does real well.
Okay.
So anyway, but I knew she was the one. Proposed after 4 months of dating, and we got married just over a year after being together or meeting each other, and now have 4 beautiful children. Married 16 years now. This past April, children are 12. 10, 8, and 4. Girl, boy.
Nice.
So, yeah.
You beat that drum really good.
Yes.
I'm like, doot. That's good. Nice.
So, really, really thankful for my story and where God's taken me and allowed me to go through. So, and glad to be here to chat.
Yeah. And kind of just expose more of your story and talk about what God is continuing to do in your life.
Yeah.
So me and Matthew, a lot of people, there are many men that come and sit at this table, and some I don't know, never met before, saw their presence online, and God was just like that guy. Mm-hmm. But me and Matthew, we met on many occasions. We've met through the Outpost. Mm-hmm. We met through father-son, father-daughter. Mm-hmm. And so we cross paths many times a year, and I think it's kind of cool that we also go to the same church, just different locations, and we both serve. That's so. And I won't just say, when I say we serve, like I don't want to just look at it from a standpoint of like we serve at our church. We serve in a lot of spaces.
Yeah.
And I think the beauty of that is like everybody serves for a different reason, right? And I think that it's beautiful when you can serve, but also be an example to your kids in the space of serving. And
serving, it's so funny because like I serve in all these different areas, and you do too. But like I get more than I give. I get so much more.
Whoa. Okay.
So like as you know, because our church says it, like see what God can do through you.
Yeah.
Like I have really leaned into that. Like I want to see what God can do through me, but like the cool thing is that God has shown me what He is doing through me in multiple different occasions. And that's not to like put me on a pedestal, but like I wouldn't have been able to see that and see God working through me if I hadn't submitted to what I'm supposed to do and gone and served in the local church and what I've been called to, and you've been called to, is men's ministry, family ministry,
right?
And so, like, just for a couple of examples, there's Travis Carter. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me telling the story because he tells everybody, it seems like. When I met Travis, I was serving at the very first Rock Hill location, which was at Northwestern High School, a long time ago, whenever that was, 2015, I think, maybe 2014, I don't know. And I was out serving on the VIP team, I think, welcoming specifically looking for first-time guests.
Okay, connections team.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's connections now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'm OG.
You're OG.
Yeah. Bro, I had the red T-shirt with the white lettering. OG. Anyway, and Travis tells the story a lot better because he's hilarious. But I met them, and I went up and I gave him a big old hug, and he was like, in Travis's own way, he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, I don't know you.
Right? You didn't get the memo? It's elevation, bro.
Yeah. And apparently I looked at him and I said, "We gonna be friends," which sounds about like me.
It does.
I mean, honestly,
that totally does.
But you know what's funny? I don't remember that at all. because that was just what I did.
Yeah.
I used the gifts, some of the gifts that God has given me, which has been my weirdness.
Oh, that's rich.
And my ability to like connect with people.
Yeah.
And maybe boldness to go up to a stranger and be like, hey, we gonna be friends.
Right. Right.
And now Travis is one of my deepest friends today.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to walk through a lot of his story. Well, I mean, a lot of his story over the years, and he is mine.
Yeah. But isn't that okay? But hold on,
yeah.
Isn't that what it's about though? I mean, like, think about
is.
it. Like a lot of times we think that we meet for seasons just to help the next man up. Oh, you're falling on hard times.
Yeah.
But I think it's more about, and I hear it all the time, I want to do life with you.
Yeah.
And that sounds weird,
Yeah.
but like it's like this is not just oh yeah, well, call me up if you're going to the bar. Or call me up if you're going
Yeah.
there. It's
Yeah.
more like, hey, look, call me up even if you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like, call me up if
Yeah.
you're sitting there and it's
Don't
like, I need some.
isolate.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I want to give a shout out to the Godfather, Ryan Simmons.
Okay.
So, he always, he's like, he's, I'm not the Godfather. I'm like, yeah, you are, bro.
Everybody knows
Like,
it already. It's
seriously,
out there.
He is the reason that men's ministry exists in Rock Hill. I was privileged enough to be a part of his men's group when I joined. I was originally at Blakeney, and then when I came to Rock Hill, I wanted to get in an E group, and I found Ryan's. He was like the only men's group leader, and they were studying the book Wild at Heart, which I'd never been exposed to. And
It's rich.
it is because of Ryan Simmons' faithfulness in serving that Matthew Query got to influence a Travis Carter or anybody else that God has used me to benefit or bless or pull out or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like talking about like serving and service, like if Ryan wouldn't have done that, would I still be in the same place?
Yeah.
Maybe, because God's will is going to be done
For sure.
and God knew where I would be if I chose to follow him. But maybe it would have looked a little different. Maybe you would have found somebody else. Maybe it would have been later down the road. I don't know. That's the mystery of God,
For sure.
right?
Yeah. Nah.
But like, I'm so thankful for Ryan opening up his house every Wednesday for years.
Man.
And multiple guys went through. Multiple men were blessed. Some have gone on and done different things, but he planted so many seeds. And every time I get a chance, I tell the guys that are in my sphere what Ryan Simmons did for me, because I want to honor him, because
it wouldn't be.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, or you wouldn't have seen the
thing.
importance
Yeah.
of it if it hadn't been for him instilling that in you. It was the seed that he put out. Yeah,
and that's when I got involved. That's when I got interested and involved in men's ministry, because then I got invited to go to the outpost. I wasn't at the very first Carolina outpost. That was a smaller contingent. I was invited, but I wasn't able to go. But I was at the very first, full outpost, and have now been to like 18 of them or something like that.
Whoa,
crazy.
That's wild.
So, and I am just as stubborn, yeah, stubborn as an ox in inviting guys. Like, that's just what I felt called to do. Be an excuse remover for guys to get them to come and see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because come to church, get involved.
Mm-hmm.
But for the majority of the men that I've ever worked with or known or been friends with, like, there's a deeper story. And this book, the Wild at Heart book, is so still today revolutionary in like finding out what really makes a man's heart come alive.
For sure.
Because it's different for everybody.
Yep.
And I'm just so passionate about that, because especially now I have I have children. And when I started this adventure, I had just had my oldest, and I didn't really understand the full story. I wanted to be a dad. I was really excited to be a dad, but I didn't realize how broken I really was and how I can break her or them.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't find out who Matthew really was, or find out what really happened in my past and addressing it to figure out why I am the way I am. Some things, a lot of it's, I would say all of it really, God's turn for good.
Yeah.
But there's been so many things that if I didn't expose them, that the enemy could use them against me. And I would just say I'm dumb enough to just be like, I don't care. I'm going to tell people. I'm going to tell people what I struggle with.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell people what I've been through.
Yeah.
I love to network, and that's kind of what I do with even within like men's ministry, is trying to relate with people. Like I go back to that excuse remover thing.
Right.
You know, well, I can't go to the outpost because I don't have enough money. Well, we got scholarships.
Right,
cool.
right.
So
right.
what's next? Well, I can't get the time off. Well, that's cool. I understand. It's like next week. I get that, but we have another one in 6 months. So
right.
Here, put this on your calendar. Well, okay, man. I'll see what's going on.
I don't know if I got no vacation.
I'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you won't. No, you won't. Put it in your calendar right daggum now.
Yeah, yeah.
Make it a priority. And so I'm just bold enough for God to open my mouth and call people up.
Yeah.
And even if I don't even have a relationship with them, I'll walk around with flyers or whatever we have and be like, yo, you ever been to man camp?
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Yeah, I call it man church.
What's man camp? Oh, blah, 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 blah.
You don't want to come and hang out with a bunch of men?
Yeah.
I mean, that always makes me like wonder, like, I mean, is it, but okay, you know why I think it is, and is it because most of the time our encounters with those men that we're inviting are in church, and they're already like, I'm just trying to check this off the box and get out of here so I can get back to my life.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to extend this by inviting me to something that's going to be like this, then I'm good.
Yeah.
And that literally just came to me of like, I think a lot of men miss the point that I'd like to invite you on an adventure with me, which is why I use the word adventure, because a lot of times when a man hears adventure, it's like bait in the water. Like, wait a minute, we going on what kind of adventure? I mean, like, what we gonna be doing? I mean, like, well, you tell me what you like to do out in the. I mean, we got fishing, we got a little bit of, we got camping, we got good food. Oh my goodness, the food, if nothing else, come for the food,
right,
man. But I think that you're starting to separate. Not that I want to, but you're separating what they're. And a lot of times they're just doing as like it's a Sunday thing to do from the adventure that their heart needs to come alive again. Yeah. And you're saying, okay, well, I want to bring you out here so that not only you can find your heart again, but you may even find you again. And I think that may be scary to some men. Like, find me again. I know who I am. I know where to find me. I wake up every day and I look at me and it's like, well, not him. But
I want people to look at me and be like, I want what he has.
Ooh.
And not like materially, not like family.
Like the goofy side,
right?
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Why is that guy so free?
Yeah, that's true though. That is very true.
I still have them, but I haven't worn them in a while. I literally wore the soles out of them. I took an old pair of shoes and I literally spray painted them orange. Yep, and that's what I would greet people with at church.
Your orange shoes.
Yep, orange shoes. Yep, sure did.
Yep. That elevation orange to the extreme.
But I don't care what people think.
For sure.
I mean, there may be a unhealthy part of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, and part of it, maybe I do like the attention it gets, but it's not to the level of, I don't think that it's the level of sinfulness.
Yeah.
Of look at what I've done.
Right.
Like, I literally want it to be able to start a conversation, and it has, with like with strangers, with other men.
Right. No, I mean,
that opens their heart up to receive what I might have to say. But again, like, or maybe not again. For us, it's weird. It's a seed, right? And so like I'm scattering different seeds, and maybe that I'm going to be able to see the harvest in this one, because I was essentially the catalyst or the straw that broke the back of the camel, or of the prideful man, to say, oh yeah, many people have told me that I should do this, and you just told me the same thing I've been hearing, and okay, maybe I'll try it out. And so, like, what right do I have to not say anything? Because even if they don't listen to me, I don't care. I planted a seed. Yeah, they could run into you later.
Yeah, and I could
and throw say the same thing. Yeah. Like, oh man, I saw this guy down a rock hill. It's really weird. Oh, I know what you're talking about. His name is Matthew.
That's exactly what I would say first. Like, weird. Yeah, it sounds like somebody I know.
Yeah. And they let me serve and eat kids too. So, but I think that's good, because I can relate with the children's.
Have you passed the training?
I have to retake it.
Have y'all sent the training to him?
It is sitting in my inbox. Yes, I'm not scary.
Are you doing? I know this is off topic, but are you doing YouthX this year?
I'm not.
That's right, because you're the younger youth. You're the e-kids.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, okay. My daughter is going to YouthX for the first time, so I'm excited about that. But I'm so proud of her and where she's come. But a lot of it is due to my story and being willing to submit to God and go and find out what's wrong in my story, my bigger story, and then being able to bring her along. So like going to the outpost for years, and then finding out about father-daughter camp, and driving to Indiana.
Yeah, you were dedicated.
I did that twice or three times to take her to father-daughter camp, because I wanted more from my relationship with my daughter. I knew that there was more, because one, the outpost talks about it, the more.
Sure. Yeah.
And being able to experience that with my daughter and then my son, but then really feeling God pulling me to help to bring it to the Carolinas. And like, you have been a catalyst in bringing it, because you stepped in and said, hey, I can help. I can bring my kids, but I can also help.
Yeah.
I can be hands and feet. And I feel really, really proud that we've been able to bring father, son, and father-daughter here. And I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to change so many families in this area. And the ripple effect, right, that's been talked about before.
Yeah.
Going back to kind of, I think how we got on this conversation, like serving, like I will never know the ripples.
Yep.
But to go back to my daughter and just give her a little bit of shout out, like she came and said, hey, I want to go to the YouthX this year, and it's $250.
Mm-hmm.
And she's 12, and so I want to start teaching her about money. I said, I would love to allow you to go, but what do you think about earning that money to go? Better yet, what do you think about maybe helping some other people to go too? And she said, oh, that's awesome. What can I do? Can I go wash cars? Can I go to lemonade stand? Blah, blah, blah. And I, did some research. I actually had a buddy years ago that had done Krispy Kreme donut sales, fundraiser sales.
Oh, yeah.
And so I looked it up. I thought, I'll fill the thing out. And we were accepted into the program, because they don't just let anybody do it. And we got these donuts, and now she has helped 4 kids go to YouthX. She's 12.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that awesome?
That's super.
And that's nothing I did, but it's like I've allowed God to enter my story.
Yeah.
And to enter her story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's been awesome to see. And so the ripple effect, right? We don't even know who we're going to help.
That's so true. And the crazier part is, as you were talking about that, I was thinking about how, like, it's crazy how I meet a lot of men at father-daughter the past time that we went.
Yeah.
And I remember watching men's daughters' hearts come alive. And I remember sitting there thinking, this is so crazy how we have brought them on the adventure with us. Mm-hmm. And I even got to thinking, like, as we were packing up, even when we were leaving, and I was like talking to some of the men, I was like, it's crazy how your daughter's life, how her heart just came alive. I was like, imagine if your heart came alive like that.
Yeah.
I was like, and it was wild because that was a perfect segue to be like, have you been to the Outpost? Mm-hmm. Because imagine if your heart came alive like hers. Imagine what that would do in your family, because she's seen something that you're yet to see. Yeah. And I think that it's so important, and not that it's a prerequisite, but I believe that when men's hearts come alive for who Jesus is in their life and what he wants to do through them, notice I say through them, it spreads through them to the entire family.
Family transformed.
Now, yes.
100%.
And I also recognize that we've seen a lot of the reverse of that. We've seen the wife walking the door to church.
Yes.
Husband's coming along. Yeah. He's dragging. You know, he wanted to finish listening to his show or whatever. And a lot of times, it's a I'm going to church. Mm-hmm. I need you to help me with the kids get there to church, whether you want to go or not. Mm-hmm. And I recognize that when it's the other way around, and our hearts have come alive regardless of the church that we go to, regardless of the community, because a lot of times the community has a way of separating us from experiencing God's love. And that I'm not saying that about any particular church, definitely not my church, but I recognize
church hurt.
Yes, a ton of it. Yeah. And so when it comes to the man, when the man's heart is awakened, when he's been awakened to his role in the home, it then begins, it's the ripple effect you were talking about, where everything spreads out. The children start to experience it. He takes them on the journey with him. He starts to share his love for Christ with them. And you end up with a family that is following after the man. Now, it is tough. I'm sure you've seen it plenty, that it is tough seeing men just kind of take a back seat and play almost like a passive role, like Adam.
Yeah, and it is very sad. And so on your point there, though, before I tell you what I've kind of experienced, is like when the man of the house has submitted to God and is chasing after his heart, there is a natural phenomenon of a draw. It draws your family in closer to you. First your wife, your spouse, because she's your helper. Yeah. She can't be your helper though if you're not being helped. Yeah. Right? Like, what is she gonna help? She can't put you back together.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that think
I know,
that she can, but no. Say it again for the people in the back.
She cannot put you back together.
Nor is it her job.
But then, like, it's a natural draw for your children too. Like, generations are changed when the man submits to his heavenly Father, and I've seen that in my own life. And I don't know everything about raising a family, and I certainly don't do it perfectly, but we have this rock.
Yeah.
That doesn't shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
That through all the chaos, it's there. He is there. And my kids are exposed to it. 3 of them have given their lives to Jesus. 2 of them my 2 girls have been baptized. My son actually has expressed interest, so that's very exciting too.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But I didn't. It wasn't anything I did. I just was humble enough and submissive enough to just show up at church.
Yeah.
And serve. And so kind of getting back to where you were talking, like it saddens me, especially since I've been walking this story with men. It saddens me seeing the number of single moms that come in and check their kids in. Thankful that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
So thankful. I mean, we'll take them, we'll love them, but I don't know if those women are married or not. But I do know, I guess a lot of the times, I would say the majority of the time, when a VIP family comes in, like it's their first time.
Mm-hmm.
Every church uses different lingo, but when it's their first time guests come in, one of my jobs and my team's job is to input them into the system for security reasons. Like, we want to know whose kid goes with what parent.
Right.
Like, we want to have all that.
Kind of important.
Yeah. And so, like, one of the questions is like, are you married? And so that's really uncomfortable for me to ask, honestly.
Sure.
And I'm like, and I try to say it really unjudgmental, like, are you married? Girl, what your name is? How you doing?
Wow, who's asking? Are you asking? Wait, let me see them hands.
Yeah. What's your name? Because I'm asking for their numbers too, so I kind of get. Anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just got weird now.
Yeah, it did.
You made it really weird.
That's why I have to do the safety training.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Anyway, but no, they will often answer no. And that's sad. But I try to just gloss over it and go to the next question, but it's something I've got to ask. But then the other thing I wanted to mention is, like, if you're at your church this Sunday, look around the sanctuary, the auditorium, wherever you're at, and look at men. Look at men's mouths closed during worship. Look at men's posture. Their hands folded, their hands in their pockets.
Yeah.
Like, your action or inaction, and I'm not saying you got to be Pentecostal, right? Everybody worships differently. But daggum, open your mouth. I mean, at Elevation, we are very passionate about our worship.
But have you heard our worship? I mean, come on.
We are.
Now. It's
very loud.
It is. Nobody's
going to hear you.
They did that purposely.
And who cares?
Right.
Part of my story is being Episcopalian growing up. And so, like, we were the frozen chosen. And so, like, that was a big thing for me to overcome. Seriously. Like, raising my hands now, like that, I mean, I still feel a little bit like it's about me, but it's not. It's my surrender.
Yeah.
And so, like, guys have to get over themselves. And that's just an example. Your kids see you. Your wife sees you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, for sure. I think it's not only a seeing thing, because I think that a lot of times it's not that they're bothered that people are seeing them. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
People can see me, and I don't want to look like that guy. Yeah. And to go deeper is, what does that guy look like? Like, what do you mean by you don't want to look like that guy? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to look like that guy who's fully surrendered, mm-hmm. who looks like he's fully enthralled with what's going on, who's fully given in to whatever God wants to do in that moment. Mm-hmm. Because I've spoken to many men that I feel like when we've held back from what God wants to do in our life and fully surrender, mm-hmm. when we've gotten to that place, it's so emotional, mm-hmm. because what we've experienced is his mm-hmm. goodness and something that we mm-hmm. couldn't do anything about. Now,
I think that there's a point at which you are, and I'm sure you've heard this phrase before, so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good.
Whoa.
You never heard that before?
No.
Really? Yeah. So, like, weird Christians.
Okay,
right?
well,
I'm gonna say it.
I mean, but
like, I am weird and I'm a Christian, but I'm not gonna go and, like, holler at you on a street corner. No. And I'm not gonna come up in your space and like immediately talk about Jesus.
I'm not going to be the guy who screams repent, and I'm just not on that John the Baptist level.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. So you can be like hands in your pockets and like not, but you can also be like that guy who hurts the kingdom in different ways.
Like give an example.
Yeah, exactly. Like the guy on the corner screaming at people.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's
true. That's true.
Yeah, I mean Christians get a bad rap, and part of it is because some of the people that are most vocal are weirdos. And I wouldn't want to know that God either. Like that God is not inclusive.
Well, that God is also not compassion, not soft,
loving.
like not loving. Like
Yeah.
he seems very aggressive.
Yeah.
He seems very judgmental sometimes based on the
Yeah.
people I've met. So
Yeah.
wait, your God would scream at me like that. Your
Yeah.
God would condemn me. Your God would make me feel ashamed. It's a no for me because I feel like what your God is offering seems to be very like I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want it like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. And so I think that yes, I think there's a level of like saying that how we approach people and how we allow people to see Jesus through us should be considered. And more importantly, let's start with this prerequisite. Know how Jesus met people.
Yeah.
If you haven't read the gospel, then I feel like that's a prerequisite to getting out here and meeting people out here in the way you think that Jesus would want you to, because then that says to me that you don't fully know how Jesus met people. And if you did, then you would know that the tactic and the way in which you're doing it is kind of flawed. And so, I fully believe that when I see people who are like you did when you walked up to the friend, the people that would come to Elevation, and
Travis.
you would hug them, Travis, and hug them. Man, we're gonna be best friends. I can imagine Jesus doing that. I can imagine him walking up to people and be like, "Hey, I'm coming to your house today. You don't know me. Doesn't matter, man. Do you want me or not? Like, let's eat. Like, oh yeah, I'm coming to your wedding, and who knows? I might make some wine while I'm there. Like, imagine him meeting people." Not trying to sit there. No, you can't do that. Like, no, perfect example. We talked about this in an episode a while back ago about Zacchaeus, and it's not just how he went to Zacchaeus' house. It's the fact.
Story.
It's a really good one. It's a good one. Of that, notice that just in his proximity to Jesus, his heart posture started changing.
I think that's a lot. I mean, you look at any of those stories.
Yeah.
Right? Like the woman with the issue of blood. Like the guy got let down through the through the roof. Like all the things. Like it's a heart posture.
Yeah. Yes. I would definitely say that when your heart posture it changes, you begin to experience Jesus in a way to where it's like, whoa, wow. Yeah. So now how can I move like this with your love?
So, you know this guy from Outpost, maybe, Whaler.
Whaler, yeah.
Have you had him on the podcast?
I've had Whaler on the podcast.
Okay, I didn't
Whaler.
know. I didn't
Shout
know
out
that.
Whaler, yeah.
So like, do you know his book? Did you know he wrote a book? He's an author.
I believe we talked about that. Yes, okay. I believe we talked about that.
I didn't see that episode. Didn't listen to it. But
it hasn't come out yet.
Oh, cool. That's why. Anyway.
Right.
No, but yeah. He was in my group a couple outposts ago, and then he sent me this. He sent me a text afterwards, like, "Hey, do you like to read or listen to audiobooks?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I got this book I'd like you to read." And he sent me his book. I had no idea. It didn't, because it's not like he doesn't. It's not like this is a book by Whaler. Like I didn't really know what his first and last name were.
Right.
I still don't. It's like
Whaler.
It's like CT or GT Gals.
It's Gals, but it's the way it's spelled is we talked about it on the episode.
Yeah. But I think is it Jesus as a Boy? Is that the name of the book?
I don't remember the name of it, but yes, it takes place from like when he was, based on the way he described it to me, it takes place from the moments of when he was a child, of when his parents found him, to the part that we don't know about, from his being found in the temple and his parents saying, well, hey, where have you been? We've been looking for you, to the place of where he shows on the scene where he's baptized. And so
I love that book. Whaler will tell you this, and I think he tells you at the, like, especially even at the end, like, there's even like with like The Chosen, like there's some liberties that are taken because it's not written about what Jesus was like as a boy,
right?
But
sure,
based on what we know about him in the scriptures, like, we can infer a lot of different things, and so that it just kind of opened my eyes, because the way that he wrote the book, it was just beautiful, and just like, Jesus didn't get angry and upset, but like, he wasn't afraid to kind of call people out on stuff either.
Yeah.
You know? And just the way that he honored people and loved people, even through really difficult situations. Like, there was at least a couple of times I remember listening in the book, like, how is Jesus going to handle this? This seems kind of and then the way that he wrote it, it's like, oh yeah, that is how Jesus would handle it. That's really cool.
But think about it though, that would mean that Whaler would had to have truly begin to think and move like Jesus in order to be able to explain how he would move based on what he's seen previously and what he's seen after that. So he's writing the in-between part of his story. And I think that when a person truly understands his posture towards us all, what we've experienced when we experience Jesus, I think that it creates it then begins to create a replica of him in us to where we move that way. I truly think it does. So I think in all of that, it almost makes you check yourself to say, how are you receiving people? Are they experiencing Jesus, or are they just wanting? Man, right? Listen to me. That WWJD came before its time, because I truly believe that a lot of people wore that as a fad, but nobody truly knew what Jesus would do. They thought they knew what Jesus. I mean, Jesus would smoke a blunt. I mean, I'm sure he would. It's like, I don't know. He would probably be there with you.
Yes.
But I don't think he would want you to pass it to him. He would probably smile and take it and pass it around. Like, just because I don't believe he was ever the type to be like, well, cursed is this. But as we've seen many people act. But I think that the way
that plank out of your own eye.
Yeah. But I think that he would have done it in a way to where you would have been like, you know what? I'm just gonna put this out. I feel like I'm missing a lot because I'm more worried about how I feel and less about the focus of what you're saying. So, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
So
that's really good.
Amazon.
So there it is. We put out a plug for you, Whaler, and we'll go ahead and we'll list that book down below so people can plug in with that, because now people are listening like, I gotta read that book.
Yeah, it's very good.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well,
what has life been looking like? What in your now? What you're probably about my age. We're both in our 40s, right?
44.
Okay, so that means
almost 44. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's funny you ask that, because I've kind of been going through this, like, kind of. I don't know that I would call it a midlife crisis. Last year, and as I've kind of, again, I'm so thankful that I've been in this story. I've entered this story. I'm walking through this story. But like this season I'm in now, I can get there in a minute. But I as I've kind of allowed God to father me through this season, what I've discovered is, like, we are conditioned to know what we're supposed to do with our life from very early on. Like, even my 12-year-old daughter, people are asking me, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? And literally every time it changes.
Right.
And that's cool, right?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But like, go to school, get an education, go to college, get a degree, and then you can have a job. Cool, but who am I?
Right.
What defines me? And when that job is gone, where does my definition go?
Whoa, okay.
So like,
come on.
I was laid off twice because I'm in the construction industry. So that's other than military, construction industry in multiple different capacities is where I've been. Mm-hmm. So I got laid off in December of 2005, and then right after I got married in December of 2008.
Of course.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Provider.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but those experiences really wrecked me because, again, I was conditioned to who do I want to be when I grow up. And when those things were taken away, I'm like, well, who am I?
Wow.
Even when I get like guys that were get out of the military, it's the same thing. Veteran suicide is huge. PTSD. I struggle with that myself. Like, guys get out and they don't have any purpose because the military defined who they were. Like, the military for me almost defined me as a man. And like, when I got out, I'm like, all right, well, am I tough? Am I a man? Am I still
right?
I still have what it takes.
Now that I'm not doing all the extracurricular stuff and showing up with the gun, things that you gave me to make me feel strong and worthy.
Yeah,
but now that I
was a turret gunner. It was awesome. I had a 240 Bravo machine gun, 1,100 rounds a minute. Oh. Yeah, belt, air cooled, belt fed. Woo!
Did I just trigger you?
Oh yeah. 6 to 8 rounds in one trigger squeeze. Yes.
And it made you feel powerful.
It did. And it wasn't even about the guns and the stuff, but just I was an infantry guy, and so like that's like, or the tip of the spear, tip of the sword. I don't know what movie that's from, but anyway, I kind of speak in movie quotes a lot, so
it's cool. A lot of people do.
Yeah. So, but like that definition, and I thank God for it because like I think that I grew up a lot in the military. It allowed me to, I think, step into manhood, because I was, despite what you may see today.
If you're watching, now you gotta watch.
'Cause I was pretty nerdy.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Very nerdy.
Are you hiding it with the humor?
So I think everybody knows that I've been exposed. But that season helped me. But once I got out, it was like, well, who am I?
Oh, yeah.
And so like, imagine guys I was only for 6 years. Imagine guys who were in for a career, 20, 25, 30 years, they get out.
Oh shoot. Yeah. Wow.
that has been what has defined them.
Yeah. Wow.
My transition out has not been great. They don't transition you out well.
Yeah.
Transition you out from the military into the VA. It's terrible.
And okay.
And so like that whole like, who am I? What am I defined by? Like that's like BS. Like that isn't who you are.
Right.
Like it's not whose I am. Like that's what really defines me. Because like jobs and stuff will come and go, but like there's one constant. Again, that rock. There's one constant that's always there. And so like through this whole like midlife crisis, I haven't like gone and bought a Ferrari or like, left my wife, for a younger version or something like you hear or see in the movies, sometimes. But my my midlife crisis has been like, well, am I at the end of a season? Like, is this, I thought this was what I was supposed to do. This isn't working out exactly like I thought. I'm really good at this, but like, so what if I'm not supposed to do this? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And like, so like, we are conditioned to going back to what we do.
Yeah, yeah. Because you know it. It's comfortable. It's
Yeah.
something you've been doing.
Yeah.
And not only that, when you were talking about it, I was like, and you're also programmed that you belong to the United States of America. You're property of the United States of America. And so
Government issue.
Not only do you know what you do, but you know who you belong to.
Yeah.
And when that is your directive, like,
Yeah.
okay, I know who I belong to and I know what my job is. And most of the time, it's my job unless I choose to not want to do it anymore, or I can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that's something, and this goes, understand, this goes for people who are in corporate America.
Yeah.
Or this go, yeah. I mean, like this is a career thing.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes very confusing when that identity doesn't belong to you. And not only do you not know what you do anymore, but you don't know who you belong to anymore. You don't have a belonging. It becomes very like pointless. It becomes very confusing. And you feel almost like you're stranded and searching for identity. And if your identity doesn't find you soon enough, you just throw in the towel because it's very uncomfortable living without some sort of identity of belonging or knowing what you do.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's important to have a career, like to do something, to be a productive member of society. But I think I mentioned earlier, like I love going to networking meetings, and the very first thing people ask you, sometimes even before your name, is like, "Hey, what do you do? What's Freedom Home Services?" Like, dare you to go in and very first question, like, "What are you passionate about?"
Regardless of what you're doing right now, what are you passionate about? Yeah, that's good.
And then take a mental note of how many people are like, "Oh, I'm passionate about my company here, blah blah blah," and they still manage. It's so ingrained that they still manage to take what I'm passionate about and they
spin it back into what they do.
Spin it back
because okay, but see, that's rehearsed though. That's programming, and that I have to like imagine me telling you, I own this company and I hate it. Like that's not good publicity. Yeah. Nobody ever puts that out on their Instagram feed because that's not how you want to present yourself. Yeah. So you'd rather be miserable than actually say, hey, look, what am I passionate about? And more importantly, wow.
If somebody were to ask me that, I'd be like, I'm passionate about educating people. Oh, that's cool. About what? Well, the home, we do home inspections, and so like I love to educate people about their house, and I love to, break down barriers and, blah, 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 I mean, if you really wanted to keep it in a job sense. Now, I think that if I'm in a networking meeting, and let's just be honest, like that would be like, I'm a weird Christian, like, oh, I'm really passionate about men's ministry. I mean, I say that all the time. It's really weird. But then again, I'm also wearing a Jesus freak shirt over here, so it's really weird too. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah.
But no, I mean, you're right. It depends on the levels. Yeah. There's levels to it.
But like, if you could phrase questions a little bit differently and just get people thinking differently, like, what are you passionate about? Oh, I'm passionate about HVAC. Okay, well, all right. Well, what's behind that?
yeah. Or I think a good question that we always hear is, what sets your heart on fire? What do you really do that just like makes your heart just jump out of your chest?
Yeah. And that's why you need men's groups, and you need to like go to the outposts and get into your deeper story, because you need to find out what makes your heart come alive. Oh, so good. So like a few years ago, I don't know if it was part of midlife crisis or not, but it was trying to somebody asked me one time, I think it was even an outpost. Actually, it was a question like, what do you like to do with your free time? Like, it was one of the questions, Pretty common question.
Yeah.
And I put, I don't know anymore. Because I had 3, I think, at least kids at that point.
Yeah, sheesh.
And so, like,
yeah,
you know, as a father, you know, love my kids, love my wife. But, like, my definition was my family.
Their life is my life.
And so, like, you know, you can take it to the other extreme and be like, well, I'm going to do adventure every weekend. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to go golfing. Blah, blah, blah. That's great. But, like, I mean, your heart can come alive a little less often. You know, take your wife on a date instead of going golfing. She likes golfing. Win-win.
Win-win.
Right? Equally yoked, bro. It's totally fine. So, anyway, but so I wrote, like, I don't know anymore. And so I formed a men's group at Elevation Riverwalk, where I go to church, and it was called Man Venture.
Okay, sounds really fun.
Yeah, and so, like, the whole goal of it was to, like, have different experiences. And so it would be like once a month, and I would pick a different adventure. And so, like, the very first one we had was we watched the movie Braveheart and we grilled out.
That sounds like an adventure to me. That sounds pretty
right?
fun.
I mean, good opener.
Good movie, good food.
Yeah, bowling,
the
boys, pool, axe throwing. Went on a hike, and then it kind of fizzled out because it was tough to get guys to come. And anyway,
keep them engaged.
But it kind of got me re-engaged, and, like, you know, it's important to let my heart come alive and be excited about things that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And not necessarily quell that. And if you can marry the two, you know, your passion and your job, then that's great.
Okay, so I 100% agree with you, and I think that I always say that our first ministry, regardless whether you consider yourself a minister or whatever, is our family.
Sure, 100%.
For our first ministry is our family.
Yeah.
But our first patient is ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not good,
mm-hmm.
then once again that ripples across
mm-hmm.
to the family.
Mm-hmm.
We
yeah,
can take
draw.
Yeah. We can take care of a family
mm-hmm.
wounded,
mm-hmm.
but know that they're going to experience our wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it is important for men to take the time out to go on many ventures,
mm-hmm.
You know,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like you said, don't swing the pendulum all the way to the other side and try to go every weekend, but know that it is important to pour back into you, knowing that what that does is that kind of gets you back
mm-hmm.
in the game of life and not just doing life. I gotta go do these things and I gotta go do these things. You get to go do those things after you've done things for yourself. To where you're, oh man, I got my heart back going.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where's that family at? And I think that that's important. And I think that's also why it's important to have a men's group, a group of men you can be
mm-hmm.
around and have conversations with and talk about, because there's a lot of those men that may come and they may not know how to get out. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to get out and do things. Mm-hmm. I haven't figured out a happy balance. I don't know how to, like, I'm new to this. And that's the beauty of having men that are older than you to say, well, you know, we're not gonna go that far in. We're gonna put our toes in, but we're not gonna jump
mm-hmm.
in every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that also, you know, something that we talked about even when it comes to like military action, because we talked about like the identity of like having a lost identity. I think that a lot of people's identity is not just found. You know, I fully believe that your identity can be found. You can start to go back to church and get around people mm-hmm. and get around community, mm-hmm. and you can find yourself. God can put people in your life to speak life back into you, speak life back on you, mm-hmm. and also know that it can also be found through, especially for and I'm not just trying to say this about active or non-active mm-hmm. men and women from the military, but this goes for everybody. You know, counseling, therapy, Whether it be in a lot of people, it's sad. This is really sad, but this is so true. Most men, the only time they have ever been to counseling is because they were made to go to counseling because they needed to go and sit down with their wife.
Yep, 100%.
Men, that should not be the first and the only time that you ever set foot in a counselor, and know that you're going because you in some cases you've been made to go. But I need you to have a desire to want to go simply for yourself, because the problems that you may be trying to fix in counseling with your wife may be simply rooted in just you. And if you begin to take the strides to go and open up and crack open that old book that's been on that top shelf that you've never touched and blown it off, and maybe just relive old parts of your life, you may realize that there's a little wounded young man in there who will not let his family get close to him, will not let friends get close to him, which is why you can't keep friends. There are so many aspects of certain things that if we were to like just take the stride to say, once again, I need to go on an adventure with myself. I need to go on a date with myself. And maybe that might just be to a therapist or a counselor who could help you. Now, not gonna lie, it's not gonna be a fun day. Let me just go ahead and throw that out there.
Well, you got to be submissive to that, though. It's a process, and like if you're just going to men's retreats and you're unpacking your stuff, but like you're using that as your counseling session, that's not going to get you very far.
Nor is it counseling.
We're not.
It's good.
We're not counselors. I mean, I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
We did. Qualifies for me.
Anyway, so like, I mean, yeah, I think that there's a societal standard or like, almost a shame around going to counseling. And it's like, oh, if I'm in counseling, I'm really in trouble.
Or something wrong with me.
There's something wrong with me, or my marriage is failing. That's not true. Like,
Facts.
One of the things I love about our pastor is that he talks about life.
Yes.
And
Come
like,
on,
he's
talk
like,
about it. Yes.
He talks about, like, he doesn't obviously get into necessarily what he talks about with his counselor, but he says, I go to counseling, what is it, like every week at least?
Yeah. And you can tell by his talk what he talks about.
Why aren't we all doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's an expense behind it, but what is the expense of divorce?
Or what is the expense of a midlife crisis when you go out and buy all the things and do all the things that Matthew referred to earlier? Not saying I did. I mean, I might have, but but I'm saying it was really expensive. I spent a lot on chasing after something.
Car under the cover out there.
Yes.
Is that part of that?
Oh, you don't know the half. There's a garage. But regardless, all that crap, I had to go through all that crap. I had to get it. To realize that it wasn't what really would fill me up. And it was in those crises where I'm like trying to find something to make me happy that I realized none of this is doing the job. None of this is making me happy as those guys were looking when they had theirs. So why am I not feeling like what they look like? And it like truly, it wasn't until I started to redirect a lot of those funds into sitting with a person that I truly, I mean, I mean this, I truly was set free from who I felt like I had to be. Because as you talked about earlier, you got people that are always in your ear. Well, when you gonna get married? When you or it starts with what you gonna be when you grow up? Or where are you going to school? Or when you gonna get married to her? Or when y'all gonna have kids? And when you let people direct your life for so long, you end up you might as well go back to them. All right, what's next? Like I done all of it. Oh, well, now at this point you just sit back and you die. Like, yeah, that's how I feel. Like I feel empty because you guys told me that if I do all these things in this way, I would be happy.
I did all those things, and now I'm in my 40s, and I'm like, well, okay, what am I doing now? Yeah.
Where are you people at that were telling me about all these good things that would happen and how happy I would make people?
Yeah, I haven't used my degree. I mean, it was in business, but I didn't really pay attention. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like I made good enough grades to to pass. What?
Do you ever want to go and sell it back? Like I have a desire sometimes to be like, hey, look, how much would y'all pay? Can I sell this degree? Like, could I sell it for half the price I paid for it to somebody who needs it? Like, can it be sold and I just change the name on it to write through it and write their name down? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. There's some parts of college that I really enjoyed. Like, I was in the Purdue All-American Marching Band. I played the trombone. Don't you laugh? I see you over there getting ready to laugh. Look at this guy.
I know.
Are you kidding me?
No, I couldn't hide it. I'm sorry. Look, hold up. Wait a minute. There was no judgment.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, it started to make so sense. Much. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, he looks like a band kid. No wonder he wasn't popular in the school.
I'm sorry. I love you, bro. I love you. I really not.
I'm playing into it because I saw it on your face.
I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, my goodness. I just triggered a moment.
That was part of getting my heart back. I started playing the trombone again. A couple years ago, my daughter was in honors band or honors choir, like at 4th grade or something like that. And like her concert, there was a symphonic orchestra that came and played with them. It's like the Rock Hills Symphony Orchestra or something like that. And I had been kind of feeling it. I hadn't really been playing in a while, and I had played from 6th grade all the way up through Purdue.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, and so they played, and I was just like, oh, I got emotional. I mean, maybe I was crying because it was so beautiful, and like my daughter was up there singing. I'm a kind of emotional guy, thanks to my dad.
Sure, me too.
But like I went up to somebody and I was like, hey, like, how do I become a part of this? They're like, well, you got to audition. I was like, well, that's going to happen. Like, oh, you should try out this non-audition band called the Catawba River Winds. And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, it just started. You should check it out. So I went on immediately that night and I registered. Because they had already gone into their season, there wasn't any availability. And the next season, they emailed and said, hey, are you interested? And I said, yes. And I remember, and I made a Facebook post about it whenever I did it, year and a half ago or whatever. I took my trombone out, and I went, and I sat down in this group of, like, people that was of all different ages. I mean, there were literally high school kids there that came to play, and people that were like in their 60s and 70s. And I was just so excited to be making music again.
Wow.
Because that really made my heart come alive. So like if you asked me if I'd go back to college or like get my money back, I'd do it all over again just to do the band again.
Yeah, nah.
Because
that's
like
deep.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like, oh, shoot guns, I'm in the military, because I did that too, whatever.
Right.
But like it can be art, it can be music, it could be, you know, working with your hands, it can be going on hikes. It doesn't have to be one particular thing, and it doesn't have to be one thing for every season either.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with your job. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have one job your entire career, and it doesn't have to be a job that's associated with your degree.
Okay.
Like, find what you are passionate about and go do that.
But everything you just described, you literally talked about entertaining a version of you that never went away. Like, okay, I enjoyed playing in the band. Yes, maybe not the soldier guy, right? Maybe not the soldier guy I wanted to play, but there's still a version of me that's in there that I stuffed down, that I muted out, and he still wants to play in the band. There's another version that likes you, that just likes to watch comedy movies and laugh, and then turn around and talk about it. Like, I truly believe that when you go and do those things, it's not just about speaking to the father you, but there's a 7-year-old you that's like, yo, when you gonna let me come out and play again?
Yeah.
And I think
God wants us to be happy. Period.
Yeah. But I think that even go ahead.
Like happy, like high. Okay, maybe there's a like legal happy.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. But no, I think there's truth to what you're saying, in that there is a part of him that he says, you know what, based on what's happening right now, I want you to experience happiness, but I want you to know the difference between what's making you happy and the fact that, like, I can bring you joy all day long. You can sit in that even when you're not happy, even when it sucks. And so I'm always like, I'm mindful of like, oh, this makes me happy right now.
Yeah.
But I know the second I have to turn this back in, or the second I'm done with this, or this, I'm not going to be as happy.
Yeah.
That it's all conditional.
Because I could take music, and I could say, okay, well, I'm gonna like really invest in myself here, and I'm just really gonna get back into it, and then I'm gonna ignore my family, and I'm gonna, you know, go,
happens.
you know, just, and then the enemy perverts it. Or you allow him to.
For sure.
Dangle that carrot. Oh, this
Yeah.
makes you so happy. Okay, well, cool. That's great. Let's do this. Let's put you up.
Let's put you on a pedestal. Yeah, let's let people
look
tell you how good you are. Yeah, no, it really happens that way. That is a real thing of like, people get
But
lost.
I'm really not that good, so I don't think I'm gonna get there. At least with music, you know.
But no, I mean, it definitely happens to us all, and I think that it's in recognizing like what that does to us and how that speaks to us.
So like this whole season, kind of wrapping up maybe a bow on this. Like, we had a nanny that would pick up our kids at the end of school, and I was obviously working. I've got 2 companies, and my wife works now, and she had a baby, so she had to quit and go take her own baby. We had another nanny who was gonna watch the kids over the summer. And she decided she wanted to, you know, have fun, you know. And I mean, that's fine. I mean, you're just in high school or getting out of school, whatever. I get it. So, but that left us with no nanny. And so, like, I'd been kind of already in this season, like, well, what do I want to do? Like, but like, God was showing me, like, just be open. And there was really no other command. Just be open. Like I'm gonna provide for you. Like, see the birds. Like, see the lilies.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'm like, and again, preaching what I best need to know, right?
Right.
Like, you're like, oh, the bank account, oh yeah, the birds and the lilies. Yeah. But seriously, like, have I lost my house?
Yeah. No. True.
Have I paid my bills?
Yeah.
Do I have more bills than I need to because I'm living above my means? Okay.
I mean, at least you're aware of it, though.
God didn't do that.
There's a lot of people that don't aware.
God didn't do that. No,
Yeah.
but anyway, so now I'm like a basically full-time dad, you know? And you know, I've still got some projects that I'm working on, some jobs I'm doing, more subcontracting than physical, but I don't think I would have been able to do that had God not taken me through this season.
Yeah.
But God wouldn't have been able to take me through this season had I not already been submissive in trying to get my heart back and find out what makes my heart come alive. And also realizing that it's not just one thing, and it doesn't have to be one thing forever. It'd be something different. I know that I love my family. That makes my heart come alive.
For sure.
And so, you know, you could, and I definitely have done it in the past. Look down on guys who don't work. You know, they stay at home, like they're the manny, you know, or whatever.
Right.
But like, that's me, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And like, if that's the season that God has called you in, or the thing that God's called you to do, then great.
I think God has purpose in that. Yeah. I think He's truly. And it's funny because I was really sitting here thinking, like, I wonder how that makes you feel based on how other men look at that.
I don't care anymore.
And
I don't.
And And that's fair.
I'm
though.
like, you're just jealous because I get to hang out with my kids and go to Carowinds while you're stuck in an office.
But a lot of them are like, well, yeah, you're the loser though because I get to be stuck in an office. And I've been both sides of it, and I recognize that a lot of times more people are more comfortable with being stuck in an office than getting to know their kids because they don't feel like they'll have anything in common with them, and they won't be the dad that they truly believe they can be. And that's why I was saying that I think that God calls us into seasons sometimes, not less, and it's less about us. Because we always feel like the story should be about us. Like this story should make me happy. And it's more about what he's wanting to do through us for our kids. The things that they need to see us sit in with them. And which is why a lot of times, and I'm gonna be the first to say it, that there are times where like I may stay home with the kids for the day during the summertime, and it's like, well, what are we gonna do? I'm father-daughter, nervous. I showed up with my daughter. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to look. I don't know if we're going to have a good time together because we don't do these type of things. But regardless,
you will.
Right.
You will.
Right.
Like, it doesn't even have to be a camp.
Yeah.
I tell this story. I've told it several times before. My I think she actually went to the women's retreat. But maybe it was just a weekend with friends or something. But I remember it was a really, really tough weekend with the kids. Like I yelled at them. Like we did some stuff, whatever. And I felt the enemy put like shame on me. Like, you're terrible. You suck as a dad, blah, blah, blah. Your kids don't really like hanging out with you. And like one day we went to like IHOP, took the kids to IHOP. And just, breakfast for dinner. Yeah, whatever,
Right.
Well, my wife comes home and she's like, oh, hey, how's it going? How was the weekend, kids? Oh, Daddy took us to IHOP. It was the best weekend ever. We put so much pressure on ourselves to perform when all our kids want is time with us. And so like, the camp is just an opportunity for you to spend time with your daughter.
Yeah.
And, of course we encourage you to be silly and allow her to be silly and all those good things, and, go on adventures, and it's kind of like a yes weekend, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Like you've seen the movie
right.
Yes Day. It's not,
I mean, Dad, jump in the lake. All right, now those yeses have come to an end.
Yeah. No, I did.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah.
We talked about that at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm working on my conditions, okay?
Yeah. So, I just think that we try to script it too much. If my wife would listen to this, she'd be like, you script everything. You want to plan everything. I do like to plan stuff. But there's a lot of it that's just, I'm okay with just being.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my kids just want me, and they want the authentic me.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, like, they're going to grow up knowing a fake me, and they're going to be fake them because they can't be real them around me.
Fake you.
Fake me.
Yeah.
And they grow up and they're fake adults.
Mm-hmm. Putting on for other fake adults and
rather than knowing whose they are, and they're my son and daughter, and they're daughters and queens and kings, of the Most High, right?
Yeah,
like they are sons and daughters. Like, it's like
you were just a good steward of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You were a good steward of them.
But when they know that at such a young age, like even now, my 12-year-old, like, she's making good decisions about who she hangs out with. It's like, why would you want to hang out with somebody who's fake or who's mean or who's not on the same path? Like, life is too short at 12.
Yeah.
To make those terrible decisions and hang out with somebody who isn't respectful of you. Love them.
Yeah.
And what was beautiful was there's this girl in the neighborhood that's really mean to my daughter, and they've gotten into it. And she came to me one time and this is like a beauty of the relationship we built. She came to me and was like, Daddy, I want to tell you something. I cussed. I called what's her face the B word. I said, okay, so what happened there? And I wasn't upset, you know. Well, you know, she was blah 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 being mean, and she flipped me off and everything else, and I called her a B word. I said, okay, well, we know we're not supposed to use that language, right? Yes, but I understand, like, that she made you angry. I understand that. She made those feelings come out, and I forgive you for that, but I want to talk to you about, like, your friends and, like, who you let in your circle. Like, you don't have to play with her because she lives in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to, you know, even teaching them now, like, you are the sum of the 5 people that you're most close with. Right?
Wow, that's good.
You are. Like, who do you hang out with? Who are the people that are closest to you? You're an average of who those people are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, if you want to hang out with a mean girl, you're going to be mean. You're going to be more mean, and you are mean when you hang out with her. Because she says mean things to other people, and to be cool and to be liked, you want to say those mean things, like, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
And so she made the decision to not hang out with her, but she and Kevin's daughter actually went over to her house, and they invited her to come to youth night.
Nice.
She came to me and said, I think I want to invite her to, is that okay? Yeah, that's great. Like, we're still called to love people, and, like,
sure,
you know, her parents don't go to church, and so, like, that's great. Like, if you want to do that. And so she's invited her multiple times, has never come. But, like, I'm proud of her because, like, she's choosing at a young age, and, like, she knows who she is. She knows her value.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't have all that if we didn't. It all works together.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like we were talking about, like there's a draw. Like, if you're not working on yourself and chasing after Father in your heart, like, none of this happens.
For sure. But it also starts with them seeing you do it. Like everything is like I watch, I do.
Yeah.
I watch. Like, no, I heard you, but I watch, I do. And I think that speaks to what they've seen in you and your wife, to say, okay, I watch them handle people that aren't too nice, that aren't, and then I watch how they in turn say, okay, that doesn't change the relationship and how I want to continue to step into people's lives despite how they act.
Yeah.
I want to continue to step into people's lives. And I think that speaks to just what you guys have demonstrated. And you know, I know we all get on ourselves and say, man, I'm not that great of a dad, or I'm not that great of a mother. But I think it's in recognizing that how you see yourself and how they see you are two different versions. What we hear about ourselves and what they believe about us.
Take my phone out here.
Okay.
You won't be able to see this on
I don't
online,
even know why
but,
people are
like,
still listening. You might as well watch us.
Father's Day, Kennedy, my oldest, came and did this when I was well, I guess this is from like
wow.
right after church. She did a bunch of sticky notes with things
that
she believes about me.
Well, hold on, I gotta put this on the camera real quick. Let me get it. Let me see if the camera can pick that up real quick. Oh, there it is.
All those sticky notes.
All the sticky notes, and they literally say, "Wow, dependable, helpful, intelligent, little buddy, thoughtful, wow."
You know,
big-hearted.
I didn't tell her to do that.
This is
for Father's Day.
That's beautiful.
You know, and, like, again, I'm not anything special. I'm just submissive and dumb enough to, you know, do this thing, and, like, God uses me. Like,
I think it's also a beauty of like you're not only surrendered to God, but you're surrendered to say, kids, I'm okay with looking crazy to be your dad. And I was about to shit. They don't just see it. We all see it. we all see it, Matthew. And I think that's the beauty of it is that a lot of times we're just jealous that we can't pull it off.
I am like, as I've gotten older, I don't want to be around people who don't want to see the authentic me.
Yeah.
One of my buddies, Kevin, from the Outpost, he's my neighbor. He moved in like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I went up and met him, and of course, me. That's just who I am.
Hey man, we're gonna be best friends.
Yeah. And it wasn't immediately, but a short while later, I remember him saying, "Man, I'm so glad you're not normal." Because like Kevin's weird.
Yeah,
we're all weird in our own way.
For sure, especially when we fully show ourselves.
Exactly.
Like a lot of us try to act like we're so normal and so rigid and so got it all together. When the truth is that all of us in our own goofy way, we're all quirky, and we like to be that normally around people, but we only feel safe to be it around people when they're like, hey, look, by the way, I'm tired of acting normal, so I'm just going to show you every side of my goofiness, and you're like, oh, well, me too. I'm just like that. Yeah. But somebody's got to give permission.
Yeah, well, but that's another reason to be in a men's group. Like, you need to see that other people are okay with themselves. Like, you need to see that other people have struggled with the same thing or are struggling with the same thing.
Yes, for sure.
Because the enemy wants to isolate us as men.
Yeah.
Like, that is the primary way that he destroys us.
Yeah.
Is isolation.
Yeah.
And thinking that we're the only person that struggles with porn. We're the only person that's gone through a divorce.
Yep.
We're the only man who's ever like cussed at their kids.
Yep.
Yep.
No.
Like,
and then the shame that comes with all of that
100%.
is just it makes us hide even more.
Yep. And like, you're the only person that's really weird and plays the trombone and likes it.
Next time we do another one of these, we're just gonna have you bring the trombone.
Yep. So, I mean, if you're not in a community, you've got to get in one.
Yeah.
And Outpost 100%. Is a great way to kind of, dip your whole foot in.
Yeah.
But, like, ultimately, you got to get involved at church. You've got to start serving. You've got to see what God can do through you.
I think you want to. I always go of like a lot of people say you got to. I think you want to. I think you don't know you want to yet.
I love that.
But I think you want to.
Yes.
Because and you just don't know it. You want to, because what's going to happen is you're going to find a group of people who are hopefully their full selves, that call out your full self, that allow you to, if nothing else, for 2 hours on a Sunday, be truly who you are, to where you're like, all right, so like, what, y'all got Wednesday church? like when y'all gonna do this again? Like, when can we get together again?
Kind of like Travis. He didn't know he wanted to be my friend.
He just didn't know it. You didn't know it, Travis. You didn't know it. And look at us now. Oh, we're best friends. No, that's awesome, and that's so good, and that's so important. I hope, if nothing else, people take that from this. I mean, I think we say that a lot here, but I think it can't be said enough that like our alone, we are totally walking around trying to search things out, trying to find things. And
COVID, man, that is the enemy all up in that. Wanted us to be completely isolated.
There was so much about COVID that screamed like destruction.
Yes.
I mean, outside of the lives we lost, it also put a lot of us into uncomfortable situations with our family. There were a lot of us that had never actually spent that much time with our family.
The enemy took a lot of ground. We got to take it back.
I never even thought about that.
We got to take it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only way we can do that is in community and not isolating, fighting against being isolated.
Yeah. That's good.
You know?
Didn't even think about that. But
Yeah.
no, that's right.
You know, if you play video games, that's cool. But did you know they have like local gaming areas where you can go? Like Winthrop has a gaming area. Like it literally is a sport. It is. It literally is a sport. It's a esports facility at Winthrop.
Johnson C. Smith has one too.
Well, yeah. So they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Get out and go and play a video game with other people nearby.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's true.
Like,
I think, yeah, you're right. Because community doesn't just have to be church.
It doesn't have to be.
But community should be found. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Find out what you like to do. Go do it. But bring others with you.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, man, this has been fun.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
Both
I'm so glad
them.
we did this twice. This has really been fun. I feel like I have spoke to you and talked to you for
Cool. Nice.
We did it! This is so sad that literally this is the second time we've and it's not even the same conversation. So that's the beauty of just going into these conversations that are so unscripted because like the other one was good too, but this one was, I think this one's better. I not even think God was here. Yeah. God knew. Yeah. God said, "Hey, look, that was great. Y'all warmed up, but no, this is the one that I want them to hear." So, I'm glad you guys were here. I'm glad you guys got to join us for this. I appreciate you coming and sitting with me tonight, man.
Yeah, been an honor for sure.
For a wow. But it's cool. I think we really got a lot out. We got a lot of laughs into.
Yeah,
this
for
was
sure.
good.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I thank you guys for joining us tonight. You guys are the real MVP. And, once again, thank you for your support. Thank you guys for coming back and listening to these episodes, even if it's just us rambling. I feel like there's so much in our rambling. Hopefully you took something from this, men and women. If you're a brother, reach out to us, connect with us, find ways to be able to see the communities that we're building out here or we're a part of. Even if you don't have one, because I'm going to, go ahead and share your information with people so they can reach out to you. I know you're not really a social media guy, but after these people have heard
medias, but yeah,
you're on the social medias.
Yeah, I'm on the social medias. Yeah. I do the Facebook.
You do the Facebook.
Matthew Query, and you can email me matthew.query@gmail. That's easy.
Nice, very easy, very easy.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Or show up to Elevation Riverwalk and I'll find you.
Ooh, yes, you will. Ooh, that's a really good one.
I will find you.
Elevation. If you don't know how to spell query, just show up to Elevation, Rock Hill, and there you go. Yeah, he will find you.
Quebec Uniform Echo Romeo Yankee. That's how you spell query.
There you go. 'Cause I was going to ask you to do it. It's like query. I'm sure people are like, hey, how do we get that one down? Yeah. But no.
Did you say a niner?
Yeah. Worry. I was that guy that was trying to figure it out before we got here. Well, hey, thank you all for joining us tonight. And I appreciate everybody for just being a part of this episode. I think it was a great one, both of them, but this one that you got to hear. So sorry you missed the other one. But thank you so much for joining us. And as always, I want to leave you guys with just a reminder from one of my friends, my brother, the late, great Chad Height III of the Rabbit Hole Show. If you've never seen the Rabbit Hole Show, you need to go check those podcasts out too. But as he always used to say, we all have a story. We all have struggles. The good news is that you're not alone. Know that. So, hey, you guys be blessed. All right. We'll talk to you again soon.
And that wraps up another episode of God's Glory and Men's Real Stories. I'm Justin Moore, and we want to give a huge thank you to all of you for tuning in and being part of our community. Your support means the world to us, and we hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as we did. If what you heard resonated with you, please consider subscribing and leaving a review on today's video. It really helps us reach more listeners like you. Don't forget to connect with us on social media at God's Glory and Men's Real Stories for updates, new episode clips, and to share your thoughts on today's episode. We love hearing from you. If this conversation happened to shed a light on past experiences of yours that may have been happy moments or maybe hurtful moments, feel free to keep the conversation going in the comments below so as a community we can listen, pray with you, or point you to helpful resources. Join us next time for another great episode. And until then, let's give God the glory for all he's doing in our stories.